This major reversal signal shows up at every single significant run that Bitcoin has gone on over the last several years. Now, it is a very strong signal and it shows up in reverse as well, pushing the market down as we saw at the peaks back in March. So today's video, I want to cover all of these low points and how this market progresses from this particular major reversal signal. We've got meme coins to get through, the traditional markets to get through after yesterday's holiday, and of course, some economic data also coming your way. So if that's what you're here for, smash up the like buttons. Let's go for 3,500 likes in today's video. It does help out the video in the algorithm. Hopefully get above all of the moon boy stuff coming out in the crypto space. Links in the top of the video description for our free TIA report coming out today, less than 24 hours. So if you aren't subscribed, definitely go and check that one out now. All right, guys, let's start off with a quick look at the meme coins for the morning before I get into the charts a little later on the meme coins. You can see there's laggards and leaders within meme coins themselves after the pump over the last 24 hours. Some of the leaders here, even over the last 7 days and few months, are Bonk, Wen, and Whiff. The laggards have been Shib. Pepe has been a leader, but didn't go up as much in the last 24 hours because it's been leading for so long. But also note that Doge is not in this list as it's been showing up as a laggard for the meme coin space. Now, also going to get into the narratives as well. Plenty of major narratives out there, but I want to have a look at some of the leading narratives and lagging narratives as well. Try and say all that stuff fast. Now, the longer you stay in this game, the more you realize that it's 90% about market sentiment, market psychology, trading psychology, basically everything other than how do you buy and sell. What I've come to know over the last 17 plus years of investing and trading in the markets is the more people expect something to happen, the less likely it is to occur, or at best have a minimal effect. So that's not to say that Bitcoin won't go up or cryptos won't go up, but here are a few examples to get you to understand this in a little more detail so that this helps us at the peaks of the market, the turning points, whether it's the low or the highs. The recent examples, the market was expecting a recession in 2021. How could it keep going up? All this money printing is absolutely crazy. And of course, there was a huge, huge boom. 2022, markets came back down, but it was an orderly correction for all accounting purposes. You can see that across the charts. 2023 had to be a major recession, didn't happen. And of course, first half of 2024 has not happened either. But even if it does, maybe it has a minimal effect on the markets because so many people believe it should happen. The same thing for the house prices. They're expecting this to collapse. They're expecting stock markets to collapse. They're expecting interest rate cuts in the first half. Like none of this stuff occurred. It's wild to see how much emphasis is put on these events for so long and it never occurs, or it never occurs in that time period, because eventually it will occur. Eventually there will be a recession. Eventually there will be a house price correction. Eventually there will be a stock market collapse of more than 20-25%. Eventually they will cut interest rates. But at the time when the most amount of people expect it to happen, it doesn't happen. And that was the same sort of thing for Bitcoin at the peaks, when most were expecting it to just continue to run higher and higher and higher, going to 80,000, 100,000. But we had the signal that showed up here. We had the 3 days down, which suggested it's probably unlikely that we're going to see higher prices or much higher prices anytime soon. And that has turned out to be exactly true. So from this top to where we currently are, 75 days underneath the old all-time high. Probably a few more to go at this point. Who knows? Maybe we blast off today to a new all-time high. But essentially 75 days, that's 2.5 months under the old all-time high. And at that top, I wrote a journal entry. Whether you believe it or not, that's your call, because of course I did not post it on this particular date. Nonetheless, what I do with the journal entries is for my own purposes here, to keep events, to learn from the events, so that I can improve my own trading and investing in the future. And as a little lesson today, I hope you guys do the same with your trading and investing. Keep a daily journal of what's going on. So I don't think this is the end of the cycle, but I did think at the top that the market probably wouldn't go any higher based on the amount of hype, and that we would see another leg up, but we needed to see some sort of major correction into wave 4. So Bitcoin has done that correction, 23%. Maybe people were looking for more. Would have been nice, but at the end of the day, we got that correction and it took quite some time compared to what we have seen over the last 6, 7, 8 months from the low in September, October. So we'll get to Bitcoin and this major reversal, but I just wanted to point out this particular reversal here at the top that is now showing up on a macro time frame at the bottom, a nice reversal signal there. Bitcoin in the short term, yesterday's bar, nice pump up, but it closed underneath that previous swing top. So in the short term, you've got higher highs and higher lows forming, but it was a bit of a weak close yesterday. So all that signals to me is that maybe there's going to be a little more time around these levels between 66 and 72. I don't think we're going to get this big rocket out of 72 yet. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But essentially just looking at that weak close, it could come down to the Memorial Day that happened yesterday in that public holiday for the US, and there wasn't much trading going on. So that led to a little bit more of a push down, but probably a little more time between these levels to decide where the market wants to go from here. The numbers remain intact from yesterday's video. That's trading and investing. Things pretty much remain the same until there's a major change. So you've got an invalidation or a continuation of the trend. Our invalidation level remains at $65,000. Previous top here, another 50% level from the entire range. So yeah, basically under 65, going to be weak for Bitcoin, potentially taking a little longer to consolidate before it pushes higher. Above 65, the consolidation will be quicker than under the $65,000 level, which could then mean higher prices. In terms of accumulation or distribution, undecided at the moment because it's within this particular trading range. The breakdown, of course, well, that spells a distribution, and a breakout would be that this was all accumulation. I'm leaning towards the side of accumulation at the moment because we're above this 65 grand level. And in the macro view, which I believe I've got it on this chart here, we're looking at these 5 waves. Wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then our 5th and final wave, which takes us to that almighty peak. Don't pay attention to the prices. We don't know about the time yet, but we will continue to follow up where this thing blows up to in the future. So essentially, the main thing to take from here is I still see there as being more upside for Bitcoin and, of course, cryptocurrencies coming into this 5th and final wave, which now leads us over to this major reversal signal on the weekly chart for Bitcoin. Now, I just want to drag it out just a little longer. Today, top of the video description, TIA report, free report coming out today. Subscribe to that and you guys will get that information there. Let's have a look at this particular signal. It shows up at the significant pumps to the upside. The white arrows are where I've got the signal. And if you guys were following the 3 days down from this top, you'll note that it comes up with the red triangles. So the red triangles to the downside, 3 in a row from significant turns. So significant turns, you can't use them within some of the choppy ranges here. It doesn't have as clear of a signal. But for now, we have a signal to the upside. You've got the low in, and you've got a green, and a green. What we can establish from the past is that it's not a 100% guarantee, because there are no 100% guarantees in trading or investing. As we know, no one knows what's on this right-hand side, the black side of the chart. I think it's always important to remind ourselves of that. And for me as well, to remind myself that no one knows what's going to happen on that side of the chart. But we just look at the probabilities from particular signals and then assess their strength so that we can then assess our risk tolerance to what is showing up on the chart. If we've got plenty of strong signals on macro turns, well, then we could say, there's probably a higher chance that we're going to see higher prices before we see significantly lower prices. And therefore, I can make a trade based on that. I can decide how much I put into the market based on these stronger signals, knowing full well that it could break down, but it just seems, well, it shows that there is more chance of higher prices compared to lower prices. And the same is true in reverse. If you start to see these signals at the top, then you say, well, there's probably more chance of this thing going down, or at least pausing temporarily, if you want to call that a pause, between 74 and 56, than there is going up. So it's the same thing in reverse. So what we're looking at here is the TIA Gann swing indicator turning on the bar type. So go down to the bottom, use that. If you don't have it, the link is in the top of the video description here. 7-day free trial with your Gann swing indicator. Link is right there. Now, we've got the green arrows turning on here. And if we look back in history, the best times are from significant lows, and as the market basically does its first range out of those lows as well. Now, in terms of the signal, we have 3 green triangles or little up arrows, and then of course the red ones are down. But you can see the 3 of them here in a row. These cannot be interrupted by a red or a blue. They can be interrupted by a gray because that just shows a lower high and higher low. So it's still within that trend and you're going to see further upside. It doesn't matter if the bars are red, that's absolutely fine because you still have a higher high and a higher low. That's the importance of understanding Gann analysis. This whole red and green bar, that's just set by TradingView. So we've got this signal here, 3 greens up. You'll typically get a red or a blue for a swing bottom. So that's on this Gann swing indicator itself. From there, we've got those signals on the way up. And typically you see this trend continue to rise, but what you normally do not see is a breakdown of this swing bottom. So what I'm saying here is that it's unlikely, no guarantees, but it's unlikely that this low will be broken. It could, and you'll see in some of the examples that it has done on the odd occasion, but roughly about 80–90% of the time, that low is not broken. So there's still about a 10 or 20% chance that that low is broken. But you can see that there are probabilities that that low is unlikely to be broken now. Let's go back and have a look. You've got the 3 green arrows here. Did that low get broken? No, it went on, put in another higher swing low, tested again, and then of course broke down from that point. This is on a weekly chart. So there's a lot of time between these signals, between the turns and the swing bottoms. So there is your signal, market heads up. Again, October, 1, 2, 3 greens, not interrupted, market takes off. Was this low taken out? No. That low at $26,500, not taken out. Let's go back again to the cycle bottom. When we were getting very, very bullish and the masters out there, these pro traders were all telling us there was going to be another collapse. You can see green, 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 swing bottom back here at 16K, not taken out. This was the banking crisis or the non-crisis because at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter anymore. But yeah, you can see that even the banking crisis could not break this. So pretty good signs there on the way up in the bull market. Note in the bear market, you don't see this signal. There's no 3 greens. It's not like it can't happen, but it's very unlikely that you're going to see 3 greens in a row in a bear market. So yeah, it didn't happen throughout that entire bear market. Going to the previous bull market, green, green, green. Was this swing bottom broken? No, you had a higher low, another test, and then the fail. And then it was finally broken several months later. That was January, and this low here is in September. So about 3, 4, 5 months there. Going back to this one here, 3 greens happened after the blue, but the blue put in the low. So 1, 2, 3 greens. Was that swing bottom broken? No, safe signal. Market continues up. Longer term time frame here. I'm just going to point them out. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day. So here it is there. Market continues on. Was the swing bottom broken? No, you can see it go up higher. Another one, another one, another one. Even very, very close to the market action. Did not get broken. Another one. Didn't get broken through here. However, here is one right here. We had the red, green, green, gray, then green. So you didn't get the 3 in a row, but you had just a little interruption. Market continued on. COVID, but then it bounced back above that level very, very quickly. So it was extreme fear. Most people did not buy that low, and then it bounces away from that point. Gives you another signal right here. And then these lows weren't broken. So only COVID broke it that time there. Going back, this one here was not necessarily a failure because it had another move to the upside. However, it was coming towards the end of the move. So I'll mark it down as a failure. We've had a lot of wins throughout this entire move, here. So a loss here, and I would say a loss here. You're not really going to get that extra profit to the upside. This one here, very nice, green, green, gray, and then green. This one, however, that is a loss, and it's in a bear market. So there's plenty of other signals to keep you on the right side here, to let you know maybe don't load up as much in a bear market after such a significant drop. That's the significant drop there. Going back into a bull market, great signal, great signal, great signal. And finally here, weaker, because you had a gray, a green, a gray, green, gray, green. So it didn't really get a run on like the other ones. You can really see the difference between this and this, where the market is just waiting to boom, and this one coming directly out of the bottom, still trying to decide whether it's time to pump or not. So we just went back over 9 years of history. We had many winners with this signal, a couple of losers, and maybe one or two there that didn't necessarily get the biggest gains that we were hoping for. So there was a lot of winners to suggest that this signal is likely to be very, very strong. As I said earlier, probably around that 80 to 90% suggests, or 89% probability, that this low at $56,000 is unlikely to get broken now. Even with some downside, as we've looked at when we look at the daily chart, doesn't mean that we can't see the market dump here and dump and dump. We're talking about this low here not getting broken at 56K, or a very unlikely chance of that low getting broken. So I'm really liking this particular signal. I'll come back to it and follow up with it on the channel. Make sure you are subscribed so that you can see how this macro signal progresses. This was on a weekly chart, and it cleared up, or it showed up yesterday at yesterday's close. So that now leads us over to the meme coins and the meme coin, or the cryptocurrency narratives, with meme coins leading the charge here. As I posted earlier in the video here, looking at some of the leaders and the laggards. In terms of the memes, Pepe's leading the charge, 7 days here, 50% up, dog with hat. You got Flocky up here and Bonk on the Solana ecosystem. Now, the narratives that are leading the charge, Solana ecosystem's doing relatively well overall. When we look at things that have been up, you've got Bonk on the list there. You've obviously got Solana that has been up as well. Jupe has been doing relatively well. I'm not looking at this in terms of 1 hour or 24 hours or 7 days. I'm talking longer term here with the strength on the Bitcoin charts. AI has obviously been doing relatively well, but we've seen the shift recently over to meme coins leading the charge. AI had its day when Render was up and Near was up, and you saw Tau was up. Injective was obviously a lot earlier. Fetch was up. AKT, Akash was up. Ajax obviously being on the same bandwagon as Fetch. AOs, it's had its day, and it seems like it needs to rest, as we'll have a look at on the chart. But in terms of these narratives, these are my 3 picks: memes, Solana, AI. Gaming, for whatever reason, it just doesn't necessarily show up across the board, and it continues to lag pretty hard compared to the other narratives for now. And we had that discussion late last week with Miles and how that could potentially be. Maybe it's just one big gamble towards the end of the cycle. That's just not the game that I want to play. I want to see stuff that's continuing to show strength while the market is also showing strength. Obviously with Bitcoin here, showing that strength. So that's a look at the narratives, just very, very simple, very, very quick look at what we had seen covering the Bitcoin charts over the last several weeks on the channel. Now, if we take a look at them on the charts in more detail, what I'm doing here is looking at where these cryptos are strong above particular levels. And of course, the inverse would be true too. Then they would be weak below this level. So as it's above, Bonk's going off again. As it's above, it's strong. Below, it's weak. Stronger above other levels here, like this 50%, because it's through that correction range. Let's take that off here. That's the correction, the 50% through the middle. As it closes above these levels, above these previous tops, it gets even stronger. So a lot of people are hoping for these cryptos that are down, trying to buy up these bottoms. But many of you have noticed that they don't move anywhere near as good as the stuff that is strong. The reason for that, the big reason, the fundamental reason, is that if stuff is strong, it's strong for a reason. If it's weak for a reason. If it's lagging the leaders, it's lagging for a reason. If the leaders are leading, they're leading for a reason. So that's the basics of it. It's up to you to go and figure out whether the exact reason for this crypto leading over something else. But the chart is telling you everything you need to know. The way I look at it is everything all-encompassing that the market knows is right there on the chart. Yesterday's bar, everything the market knew about that cryptocurrency on the 27th of May, 2024 is enclosed in that bar. And it told you yesterday that there is some strength forming. You've got a few days up here. If we turn on our signals, you've got a gray dot here, you've got a green here, you've got a green arrow here, and another green arrow here. Let's have a look and see if I know my signals. Show bar type. And what do we got? We have gray, green, 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 because those are all higher highs and higher lows. So we're starting to see that strength in here. You got it back here too, green, green, green. You got it back here, green, 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 green. You can see that some of these, well, most of these lows are getting higher on a bigger term time frame. You are in a choppy range, so yes, you're going to see some of these lows get broken because you're not in a clear trend yet. But I think that this is trying to form an uptrend, and then that trend will become clearer, and then the strength in that crypto becomes a lot clearer. And when it does, when the market understands the strength in this coin, that's when you start to see these things really explode. So I'm putting my bets on the stronger cryptocurrencies without saying too much. I don't want to sway your thoughts here too much. I just want you to focus on the charts themselves and not the little letters up in the top hand corner, so that you can learn and apply this to all markets, apply it to stocks, apply it to anything. It's the same thing over and over again. Now, if you want to learn how to implement this in greater detail, time and time again, to hopefully your own benefit, well, that's where I suggest TIA Premium. Link to that is in the top of the video description. So onto the next altcoin. We've got WIF up here. We've taken a whiff of that. We've got WEN is also showing some relative strength there. It's getting above those 50% levels. And like I talked about in April, we're looking at higher lows forming for altcoins. This one, of course, came back underneath, but is now attempting it. Whereas you saw on the stronger altcoins, they were putting in higher lows from that bar there. So the 19th is the date that I had that tweet, and I said altcoins look like strong altcoins are looking like they're putting in their higher lows. And what do you know? We're starting to show, or the market's starting to see that just simply from reading the chart. Nothing more. I'm no smarter than anyone else. It's just a matter of putting the time in, time and time again, to continue to read the charts and understand what they are saying. So that was when. I think let's just have a look at Bonk because of the strength here. So it's strong above this 50% level. That's the major 50% level down to there, straight through the middle. And you can see it broke out, tested it, and is now pushed away. And it's then a strong above here and stronger above these tops here. So there's your 50% there. This is an extension. And you can see that it's hit 100%, potentially on its way to 150% of this range here, projected from that low. So that's how we create price targets to identify strength and weakness, or you could use it for taking profits. And if it fails and you get some invalidations, well, then you've got your swing chart here to let you know maybe it's not as strong as it once was, and then I should be getting out of particular cryptos. So that is the beauty of this system here, using your Gann swing indicator along with TIA Premium to understand how it works so that you can trade these short term, longer term. It works on all of the markets. Just know how to use it. So that is the meme coins, obviously showing plenty of strength there. In terms of AI, or as we know with Render, more of the D pin, but still in the AI, this has had a lot of strength for a long time, but now has begun to pull back. So it's put in a lower high here, but I'll say the same, I use the same analysis across the board. Provided it remains above these highs, it's going to have some relative strength. Still got the 50% to contend with there, but it's still above these highs. Now I'm looking at this against BTC. If it gets below these lows here at around 12,000 Satoshis, then that is going to be a sign of relative weakness, and maybe Render doesn't necessarily put in the same sort of gains that stronger altcoins will do in this next stage of the bull market. Remember, I'm talking about this next stage based on the wave pattern that we've been covering for some time, and more importantly, Michael's been covering on his channel as well. So go and subscribe to him. And two, we've got this other strong signal that has shown up many, many, many times across at least 9 years of history on Bitcoin, which typically leads to further upside. So if your altcoins are showing strength while Bitcoin is showing strength, then you're probably going to pour that gas on the fire and get those even bigger gains. So that's what I'm looking for. Not to say it's time to dump render or anything like that. Just keep a lookout for some of those levels that might show some weakness. Now, of course, easy to go and pick on our friends XRP. That, of course, is a disgustingly weak cryptocurrency. It continues to fail time and time again, and only really give you a tiny little bit of hope for a day or two, and then it just fades out and crushes the dreams of those XRP holders in the hopes that they're going to see something from their token, maybe an ETF this time. If winning the case against the SEC wasn't enough, they're at new lows against the SEC low, and this time maybe the luck's going to change and the ETF is going to be here to save the day of XRP, and it shoots up to some beloved $5 or $10 from its measly 50 cents.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit.
I'll leave my poetry on that one there. Remember, follow your leaders, dump your laggards, and I'll see you back here at the next video. Weekly reports out today. 3,500 likes. That's enough of my jabbering on here. Thanks again. See you the next one. Till then, take care and peace out. Damn, that was a weird outro. See you at the next one, guys.